Hello Bloomington, I'm Mayor Tim Busse, and this is the Council Minute for the week of October 12th. As I'm sure you've all heard, several hotels in Bloomington have been serving as temporary shelters for people living with housing instability during the pandemic. Hennepin County has been managing 2 locations for people who are elderly, medically fragile, or especially vulnerable to COVID-19. Bloomington is one of several cities in Hennepin County that are assisting those who are especially vulnerable to the coronavirus. Hennepin County has been looking for longer-term, not permanent, but longer-term housing that is better suited for living conditions. And the county recently made an offer to buy the extended stay hotel at American Boulevard and Lyndale Avenue. Now there are a lot of questions coming into the city and to council members, so I thought it would be good to address those questions here. A little background. A few weeks ago, Hennepin County approached Bloomington about purchasing a hotel as an ongoing pandemic relief facility for medically vulnerable and elderly residents. The county identified the extended stay at American and Lyndale as a good location because the facility is already set up for long stay use with kitchenettes and laundry facilities. Now I want to say right up front, we are nowhere near a done deal here. And the issues surrounding this question, obviously they are not easy. As a city, we don't want our residential neighborhoods nearby unreasonably burdened by the presence of a temporary county shelter operation. We know that our first responders are being stretched thin by issues at other properties across the city. And I also believe that it would not reflect the values of this city if we callously disregard people who are incredibly vulnerable in this very difficult time. Now, of course, there's a process for all of this, and here's generally how it would work. Hennepin County would submit an application for a rezoning and a re-guiding of the property, as well as an interim use permit. An interim use permit means the city gives permission for a property to be used in a certain way and with certain conditions in place for a defined period of time. It's not a permanent approval or change. And the conditions piece is important. If we were to approve this interim use permit, Hennepin County has agreed to abide by conditions that the city will set. The city wants to ensure that the facility would be a safe and healthy place for those residents to live during the pandemic, but as I said, we would also insist that our neighborhoods are protected. The city has the authority to enforce these conditions through land use approvals before the county can operate this temporary shelter at the extended stay location. Now, to be clear, the City Council has discretion to decide whether to approve the county's applications. And also to be clear, as a potential property owner, the county has the right to request these land use changes and permits through official city processes. As of today, the county hasn't submitted any applications, so we don't know yet the details of the proposal, and because of that, we haven't discussed the conditions the city will want to have in place. No decisions have been made yet on this issue. The public will absolutely have an opportunity to comment on this. The process will be entirely open with at least 2 public hearings at both the Planning Commission and at the City Council in November. And remember, there is another level of government that represents you that is involved in this. We can set expectations and conditions on Hennepin County, and we should. That being said, of all the hotels being used for temporary shelters in Bloomington, the county-managed properties have had the least impact in terms of calls for service and on the surrounding areas. The county has been responsive to city requests, and we expect that to continue to be the case from Hennepin County. As I said, this is a challenging situation. I have the same concerns that you do about the safety of our neighborhoods, about the impact to our business community, and for the incredible pressure being placed on our police and fire, who are doing an outstanding job under very difficult circumstances. All of these will be factors when I consider whether this is the right thing to do. This time of year, the City Council has budgets on the agenda nearly every week. Among the most basic things that local government does is provide water and sewer services, or what we refer to as local utilities. In addition to water and sewer, we also manage wastewater, stormwater, and garbage and recycling. All of these appear on the utility bill you receive every other month. And this past Monday, we looked at the utility budgets for 2021 and for future years. Now we have to look at the near-term and the long-term budgets because what you pay in utilities pays for the day-to-day operating costs, as well as the longer-term capital replacement costs that keeps our system and our infrastructure in safe and effective working order. This year, our staff is recommending that planned increases in utility rates be significantly limited, recognizing that many in the community are experiencing economic hardship. Water rate increases are being capped at 3%. Stormwater rates will only increase 2%, and wastewater rates will remain flat with no increase. What this means for you is that the bi-monthly utility bill should not change too much. If you're a modest water consumer and have a small garbage bin, your utility bill will only go up about 75 cents to $1 each month. You'll have an opportunity to weigh in on the utility rates on November 23rd at a public hearing. We would love to hear from you then. I think that everyone is aware that the positive rate of COVID-19 tests is going up in Minnesota as it is around the country. This week, the Minnesota Department of Health reported the highest single-day cases in months and the highest number of single-day deaths. The severity of this pandemic is not receding. We have not turned the corner, and the coming cold weather may make things even more challenging. Remember to stay vigilant. Please avoid close contact with other people. Avoid large crowds and confined spaces with poor ventilation. Get a flu shot, and certainly wear a face mask. Each of us shares the responsibility to keep the virus from spreading. Well, that's a wrap on this week's Council Minute. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Be well and stay safe, Bloomington.